Hello, we are live. Welcome everybody who joins us to this webinar. I'm so happy to welcome everybody here. I saw that we had quite a high number of of attendees, so I hope everybody who wanted to join is here. My name is Rina Nir. I'm the CEO of Radbee. We are an Atlassian solution partner specializing in medtech and pharma, and we also have apps on the marketplace, and one of them will be part of this of the solution that we will be discussing today. Before diving into the deep side of the webinar, I wanted to share why I think it's so important. So I don't know where you were on the 19th of July last year, but I was lucky enough to be here and not stranded in any airport around the world, because that was the day where the CrowdStrike bug hit and put down hospitals, travel, airplanes, etc. So it's already a few months ago, and we now have the full report actually available on the CrowdStrike website with conclusions and analysis of what they need to fix. And I just highlighted here, it's actually quite a fascinating report. I encourage everybody to go and look there. And if anybody needs to explain to management why more resources are needed for testing, that's actually a good starting point. So the highlights here are that the bug that caused the whole world to go down more or less was just a simple mismatch between input and processing that caused exception, and the conclusions were simply more testing. There were other conclusions as well, but the conclusion, the big recommendation was that more testing is needed and more visibility to testing, and so on and so forth. So if you invest a lot of testing, or if you invest a little in testing, you probably will be investing even more so in the near future. So that's just reminding us why it's so important to actually discuss how testing is done, because I think that in the big spectrum of technical work, developers get much more attention, and the productivity of developer is really highlighted. Let's highlight also the productivity of the test effort, because that's a big chunk of the effort. So because the subject is so important, it's better that I have support here. And I'm so happy to be joined by two incredible experts that are working day in and day out in improving the test experience for actual people on the ground. So, Anja, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Rina. So my name is Anja Fuchs. I'm based in Switzerland. I work for Swarmit for almost 6 years now as a senior Atlassian consultant. And yes, I consult every day in different areas like knowledge management, process optimization, and also test management.
I can introduce myself next. My name is Tonislava Docheva. I'm a product marketing manager at Xray. Today we're going to be talking a lot about Xray as a tool for managing your testing, the main topic for today. I've also been at Xray for over 6 years, and I've seen the product evolve through a lot of different stages and growth. And one of my main responsibilities is really listening to our users and understanding how we can continue to evolve and improve the product. And I'm really excited and looking forward to talking today a little bit more about test management and specifically the reporting that we provide.
Thank you, Tony and Anja. What we'll be discussing today is, first, we'll share some of the challenges that we very frequently see in organizations around test efforts, transparency of test efforts, sharing the information about where we are in tests with management and with other stakeholders. Once we underlined where we think the difficulties are, will come with a solution. So there's no point of just highlighting the problems. We'll suggest a solution that is based on Atlassian and Xray and some other apps, also snapshots from Radbee, and will not let you leave without a very good demo taking you through all the different reporting aspects that this solution provides. And at the end, of course, there will be time for Q&A. So we have someone monitoring. We have Saskia, not someone. Saskia, who produces this webinar, she is monitoring the LinkedIn channel. And if you have any questions during the presentation or the demo, just leave it as a comment on the LinkedIn feed. Saskia will make sure to pick it up from there, and we'll raise it as a question to us when we finish the walkthrough. Anja, I know that you are very frequently called to rescue companies from test disaster or test mess or whatever you would call it. What things do you see happening in the field?
Oh, a lot. Unfortunately, it's always special if I talk to people from Xray like Tony. It's always like, yes, it's expiring, it's nice, and then you come back to reality, and the reality looks like Excel spreadsheet. And that's already like the good thing. So at least okay, they do something. That's already like the higher stage. But of course, Excel spreadsheets that are sent out through Outlook and then sent back, and then one poor guy or girl can then sum up everything back, and that's a bit of point. So but that's what I see. But of course it's not always Excel sheet. Sometimes they have special tool sets for the testing, for requirements engineering, for development, whatever kind of tools you need in your process. So you have probably one process, but it's spread through so many tools. They're probably not connected or not well integrated to each other. So there is no chance of real traceability that you could expect. And what I also saw many times, but that's nothing that we can resolve really like with the tool. It's probably more like the way of working. I see a lot that there are no requirements. That's something also special, of course, or no tests, or something like in between. So, but not really mapped to each other. Yeah, so it's like Microsoft tool suite, and with PowerPoint, Excel, hours of time spent on PowerPoint presentation for reporting, copying graphics that you probably created in your master Excel file and did a diagram on it. And then, of course, after a few months, if you want to look back, good luck finding it in the folder of a subfolder of a subfolder of a subfolder somewhere in your drive, probably local, probably on your desktop, not even so far. But that's what I see, unfortunately. And
yes, I see a lot of that as well. I think that no good organization can survive without Excel still today in 2025. Another phenomena that is really prevalent in pharma is that big organizations have ALM systems like HPALM or DOORS. Now these systems tend to be expensive enough that they limit who has access to the system, and then it creates this discontinuity or disconnection, especially when the development goes to Jira to be agile and quick, etc. but the test management and requirements management stays in HPALM or DOORS. This creates a
complete disconnection.
A silo, yeah, between the teams.
Yeah.
And
And I think what is maybe interesting, you said like DevOps teams goes agile. It's not even, I think it's not even needed to go agile just because you're using Jira. And I think that's what I see more. And regarding expensive tool, sometimes they have invested so much in
Exactly.
this tool that it just hurts them within the organization to accept the fact that, I won't say that, but they up and they need to change. They really need to go on and get some new tools.
Yes. So which new tools are we going to suggest today?
so today we're going to be talking about the Atlassian ecosystem. And first of all, I hope we all know and love Jira. Jira is, like we talked, an agile tool that many developers use to organize their projects. And today we wanted to introduce to you how you can bring your testing into this ecosystem, so you don't have your teams working in these silos between a legacy tool, your testers being in a legacy tool, or completely separate from your development team. So we're going to introduce Xray. Xray is a test management app that is native to Jira. And why is this important and why is this beneficial? So by bringing your testing into your development team, you now have one cohesive tool stack. And this is going to bring a lot of visibility to your testing within your development teams and within your organization as a whole. So this is going to enhance the collaboration between your teams. So now the quality isn't only going to be the responsibility of your testers. Now developers will have visibility into testing and testing entities and so on. And also now you're able to have one tool stack to manage the full software development lifecycle. So a little bit further on, we're going to also be talking about other tools, as well as integrating with Snapshot, which is going to give you even more visibility into the reporting. So how does Xray help you manage your testing and do it in a smarter way? So first and foremost, Xray uses Jira native issue types for managing the testing entities. And this gives you full traceabilities between the stories, requirements, tests, and test executions, and so on. And we'll talk about this in the next slide. But you also have built-in reporting features and capabilities. So you're able to have live data. You're also able to have built-in reports. You also have customizable dashboards. And you're able to see the different levels and statuses of your progress of your testing, the progress of your projects in general, and in general, your readiness to release. And so this is also very important for companies that are in highly regulated industry, like we talked about, companies like in manufacturing, mobility, finance. And this is important because with Xray integrated into Jira, you're able to have compliance through full traceability. And we'll talk about this a little bit more. But for now, let's explore how Xray and Jira work together.
So my favorite slide, I prepared that once for our internal or like the trainings we offer regarding Xray. So here is a bit of an overview for probably especially interesting for those who are familiar with Jira already, but do not know how Xray looks like within the Jira environment. So we have like this levels, as you can see, we have the requirements coverage. This is like can be anything but you define as a requirement within your Jira issue types. Can be a story, can be an epic, can be a feature, you name it. as long as you feel comfortable with. And so what we're doing with the requirement, we link it to a test. So we create one or several tests that actually give us the the possibility to see, okay, what do we have as a requirement, can we test it? And what we also can do is defining some preconditions, like do we have internet or not? Probably that's like a baseline, but yeah, things like that are also possible. Next level is the organization of tests, and there we have the possibility to group our tests within test sets that show probably, okay, this is the topic of like user management or whatever, so tests related to that topic might be together in one test set, just for a better overview. But we also have another functionality, and here you see also the different colors. So everything what is blue, those are the Xray issue types. So it's a usual issue that you have in Jira, just looking same as everything else that you know from Jira. But there is also the feature of Xray test repository, where everyone who feels comfortable with folders will be happy, because there you can save your tests or organize your tests within folder. And that might be more comfortable for people. And then when it comes to the whole organization, that's actually the lower part, the release planning and reporting. So we have the possibility to plan our tests. So we say, okay, for example, the release X, we are gonna have a plan what we are going to test, and then we can link our effective executions to the plan. So what are we testing? Like, for example, on the environment integration, we are testing mobile features, and then we do that. So the test is actually not the same as the test execution. That's probably something that is a bit of strange for people who are used to Excel files, because so you separate your test management. You have an issue for the test. You track the status of, is the test like designed? Is it ready to be used? Is it probably deprecated? So you can really do a status based just on the test case. And then you have the test execution with the test runs, where you really see the status of, was the test successful or not? Did we have any defects based on it? So we can link also our box to it, and that makes, as you see, one big picture. I know I talk a lot. That's why I will jump over now to talk more to the demo. But probably
Anja, one moment. Anja, Anja?
Yeah.
Just quickly, if I can, a quick question for you. You have requirement issue type here on the top of the diagram in white. For people who know Jira, are these stories, epics, or any issue type that an organization wants to define as a requirement? What is the requirement issue type?
Yes, that's what I mentioned at the beginning. It's really something that can be anything that you define as a requirement. And also this connection between, for example, epic and story. So this parental connection is also something that will be recognized in Xray. And so you see, is the epic fully tested, for example, based on the requirements within the stories.
Okay, so I'll let you go to the demo now.
Thank you. So hope for most of you this view is familiar, because we will not spend a lot of time in here. What I want to focus on is how Xray is actually integrated and what benefit we get. So usually what we will see is a story, as I see it here, would have probably a bit of a better description than I have here, but for the test case, thanks to ChatGPT in generating those for me. So what is additional? We see here that this story is tested by, so we have two linked issues. Those are tests here. And what we also get is not only that we see, okay, this is linked, this is like the basic what we also have in Jira, but we also have the test coverage. So the status of actually the requirement coverage based on the test results. So we see that these two tests have already test statuses. So I see here the latest final status is not run, and this is based on, and unfortunately I have here, so based on both results here. I have one past test, what is also already good, but I still have one test that I need still to do. So that's why the status is not run. So I have the full traceability. I don't have to leave my view, for example, as a requirements engineer. I can focus on story. And how do the tests look like? So maybe one view, what we have here is, so the opposite is still same. We have this bidirectional linking. So I see here, oh, this test tests the story. So it could be also a case that I have a test that tests more than one story. Can also be same as one story can be tested by more than one test. And what I see within my sorry, I need to change here. What I can see now is I have several types of tests that I can have. So I can have automatic tests, I have manual step tests, and here is, for example, a manual test where I really can define like what is the action. So what is actually the action plan of the tester. So what is need to be done, what data should he or she use, and what is the expected result. I can even enhance that with print screen or whatever based on, of course, your use case. And I can import also those test steps from Excel if you feel more comfortable. And what we also see is within this view, for example, in which test plans are we planning to test it? So this is pretty comfortable. I see that StreamYard is blocking a bit of my internet connection. So here you see, so I have planned it here, and I already see the whole overview of all tests within this test plan. That gives me a bit of, okay, how far are we within this plan? And what I also can have a look on from here is the real executions. So if I have this test in several executions, probably because a different tester has to test the same, or because we have different environments where we test it. So I can see it here. For example, yes, I did only one test execution yet, but it was good, it was passed. That's kind of an overview. And the view from the test plan side, so again, it's an usual issue, and you just see, okay, within a test plan, I can have several executions. I can link them already to the environment, and I also see what the test results are within the executions. And the execution looks like that. I see who is going to run the test, what is the status, and I can run it from here, having like print screens, like evidences to document. And also I'm able, you see it here, I'm able to directly from my testing screen capture the defects and create, for example, box that will be linked to the story, to the test, to the execution for the full traceability. So I talked a lot. And I will hand over now to Tony to explain the reports.
All right, so to close the loop here on task management, and what's the final part that we're missing is reporting. So now that you have all of your information in Jira centralized in one place, reporting is really important to help make help you make decisions. And these decisions can help you answer questions like, are you ready to make a release? What is the status of your release? And is there any areas in which we can improve? These are just some of the questions you'll be able to answer with our reporting capabilities through Xray. And Xray offers built-in test management reports. Today, we're going to go through 3 main reports that we see. We're going to look at the test coverage report, the traceability report, which Anja just talked about, and as well the test runs list. And Xray also offers all of these reports available as dashboards. In dashboards, you'll be able to customize the information, and this provides you with live data. And we'll jump into that and do a demo as well. But first, let's jump into a demo environment and see these reports, and just so you can see how easy it is for you to create these reports. So here I have my Jira. And as you can see, I have Xray, and these are some of the reports that we talked about today. So the first report I wanted to show you, which is a very interesting report, is the test coverage report. So here you can define the scope. So I want to explore the final status. Maybe I want to group it by priority. And then you go ahead and choose your project. So today we're going to look at the e-banking project that we're saying. You go ahead and you generate a report. And here now you have visibility into your coverage. So this is grouped, like I said, by priority. And for example, you can see that just by looking at this, you still have some tests failing. You can see where they are. And this report just gives you a very powerful overview of your coverage. So you can see that you still have high priority tests that are actually failing. So this will give you an idea that maybe we need to look into this. We need to look into where these failings are happening. There's some bugs that still need to be resolved. And maybe we're not ready to make a full release comfortably yet. So now let's go ahead and explore the traceability report. Again, you can filter here by final status, choose our project, and generate the report. So this report will give you a look into everything that's happening in your project. So this can be quite long. And of course, you also have the option to filter here. So let's maybe filter by statuses that are not okay, so you can get a better analysis. And for example, here I can see that for this epic, I have these stories. And in one of them, we have a failed test run. So this will give you an idea that there was a bug found here. You can see even more detail in which version it was. And this will just give you a better analysis into the status of your project. And this report is also really great for sharing compliance. Then let's finally look at a test plans metrics report. Generate the report, and you can see just how quickly it retrieves your data and generates it. And here you can explore all of your different test plans and their statuses. And here you can see just the amount of test executions that you have there, the test runs, the tests, and of course the defects that you have that are showing up there, if there are. And you can also see the test type. So here you can see that I have several manual tests for this one. And here you also have your generic automated tests. And so this report, you can see the tests gathered by status. You can see all of the different executions, test runs, and it just gives you visibility into your different test plans. This is really great for companies that are working on multiple test plans, multiple projects that have separated it into multiple test plans. And this is just a couple of the reports. You have other ones which you can explore. But these are the three main ones we wanted to feature today. And like I said, you can also then open this insight into a unique dashboard. And now I'll pass over to Anja, who will.
So here we are with the dashboard features, and I tried to present you kind of same reportings that Tony showed us before. So if we talk about reporting, of course, sometimes we just need to have a look on what is the status right now without having to generate it before, or even we have people who might need a report but they don't really care about how they should do it and click it. So what we can do is we can prepare our dashboards. And what I want to show you is an example of maybe to have different reports based on the same project, but for different stakeholder. So the first report I show here, and of course that just like few gadgets that you could use therefore, but I wanted to concentrate more on the Xray gadgets for that one, is for the requirements engineering. So what I have here, for example, is I have an overview of all the stories from this project and also the epics. I can see in which version do I want them to fix actually, or the plans to fix. And I see the requirement status, so the one that we previously seen already on the story overview. So I have here kind of a summary, and yes, that helps me a lot to get this overview. And the same report, the traceability, not the traceability, wrong, the coverage report that we saw already before at Tony's demo, I can show it here also. And what is also possible is very easy. You can just edit it, and you can here configure those gadgets exactly in the way as all the other gadgets that you would do. So you can configure it and say, for example, oh no, yeah, I don't need to see it by priority. Probably I want to see it based on, for example, no, the version is not, but based on status. I don't know if that's going to look good, but let's see. So what I have now is I see based on the status of our requirements, what is the coverage. So that's an example for that. So if I say here done, then it looks a bit better. But still, of course, the sizing, it depends on your screen. Another view that I want to show you is, for example, the test overview. So probably something that a test manager would need, where I have listed, for example, all test plans. And I see which version is this test plan related, when was it started, when was it due, so when did we had to finish with the testing, and I see the overall status, so what happened with it, within it. So for example, the first two plans were completely passed, but here I had some failed tests, and probably I will have to rebuild them in the next version and test it again, for example. What I have here is the test execution list. Again, what I see is also the status of the test runs within each execution, and I can also, for example, show the column of the test environment, so I can see, oh yeah, we did it on the int, for example. Then I don't have to worry if we have some failed test on it, as long as everything looks good on the prod. But here we see it didn't look good. So, and what we also can do is for the test management, for example, having an overview of all test runs. Of course, here it's again possible to work with the basic features of Jira. We can create filters that are really related to the data that is important right now, so we can filter or pre-filter already on a certain version, or for example on the actual sprint if you're working within sprints, so you always have the data that is really interesting for you. And here again, what I see from this report is on which environment which tester is actually running some tests right now and what status is there, and I can jump into the execution or the test right from the dashboard. And the last overview is, for example, here what I did is I saved some filters based on current user. So what I see here is like my personal overview as a tester, where I see, oh, this tests are, for example, in the status to do. I see on which environment do I have to do them. I could also add some columns like dates or whatever, due dates, so whatever is needed to give a good overview to the tester. I can also see where am I actually executing, so I don't have to really remember all that. I see it around the screen, and all the tests I already did also are listed here. In this example, I just said that I want to have them sum up the passed and the failed in one gadget. So that's a short overview of the most important, I think, gadgets. Again, as soon as you have installed Xray, you can just use the search and filter by Xray, and you see all the gadgets that are related to your test management data.
Thank you. And this is a whole universe inside Jira, but there are some good reasons to see this data in Confluence. One of them is the fact that maybe not all your stakeholders are big fans of Jira. Maybe it's complicated for them to go into Jira and find the correct dashboard and they run the correct query, but they still do want to have visibility.
And we don't talk about management, of course. No, we don't.
No. But, so in these scenarios, Confluence can be actually useful, especially when we combine it with Snapshots. So Snapshots is an app that is installed on Confluence and is retrieving data from Jira into Confluence in a way that actually allows anybody with access to the page see the data inside Confluence. This is an example of a snapshots table that is inside Confluence. We are in Confluence. And it is also a hierarchical view. So you will see in this particular example, on the left side, we have all the epics, which are the parents of our requirements, and the stories. So the epics and the stories are all presented here with a hierarchical relationship between them. And against each story, we show the test or the multiple tests that are covering this particular story. And it's just easy to see here that we have two requirements that are rather new. They are still in the backlog. So there's no test that covers them. I can prepare this report. It has this specific data has been taken earlier today, in a week or in 2 weeks. These requirements will be more advanced and there will be tests for them. I can then just take another snapshot to update the situation so that stakeholders are aware and see that, that we are making progress. And each time that the snapshot is updated, there's new data, and the new data can be compared with the previous takes of the snapshot. So this is something that stakeholders really, really like because they want to see what moved. And if I just hit the compare button here, I see that since the previous time the snapshot was taken, which was yesterday, as I was working on the webinar today, these tests actually became effective. So we have made a jump in progress there. Or if I want to compare it to any previous take, it's all here. So each time I take a version of the snapshot from Jira, I have it stored in Confluence, and stakeholders can just come over here and compare with the last view that they have seen. Another huge advantage of the fact that it is a static take of Jira data is the fact that we can then incorporate it, or this is basically constituting our release documentation, because we know that whatever will happen in the future to the test or to the epic or to the story, if they change, if they are modified because new versions are released and we want to update things, this will not update what we have taken today, assuming today is the day that we, for example, made the release. And we can use it, and that's what many teams use, to actually demonstrate the full traceability from stories all the way down to test runs. So here we see a 3-level snapshot. Again, another configuration and snapshot. Each time that you define them, you can define which levels you want to see, how many levels you want to see, and which fields you want to capture in each of the levels. In this particular example, we really have the document evidence that all the stories that we have released in this release have been tested and have passed. Well, we are still in work, so there are few tests that are not passed yet, but if we progress toward the release, we can take a new snapshot, see that everything has passed, and keep it for the future. And that's basically what people are doing to generate release documents faster than ever before. So we have reports from customers that when they historically used to do their traceability matrix compared to how they do it today when they work with Xray and with the reports in Xray and then bringing it all into the release documentation in Confluence, it's 6 times faster. And if you think about it, it's 6 times faster at the very end of the release. So at the moment that you want to release and you don't want to get delayed, then you just want to see that indeed you have covered all your requirements, you can document it easily, and you send the release out. So that's the very quick demo of snapshots. And I will bring the group back.
So
And take us to the close the loop for us.
yeah, so we talked at the very beginning about the challenges. You remember the Excel files, you remember Outlook emails. You know them probably better than I am, probably because you're facing them every day. So I would either talk about the key takeaways that we have on the next slide. So yeah, well, you see it's well integrated. That's for sure what we can say. You can bring together requirements engineering, development and test management, and the reporting with some beautiful management slides, but in dynamic reports. And yes, that all together, and also have them prepared in Confluence. And of course, the whole traceability is just given because of the built-in features. So you don't have really to think about it. You just have to follow the process of the right creation. So of course, you still have to think about creating first a requirement. It's still a task. You have to create a test, still a task. But if you do it in the right way, Jira, Xray will just take it over from them and link everything together and bring it in one big overview. And I think the dynamic reports and just this one-click reporting is a game changer. You save time. If you need it, probably the graphics are even good enough for print screens and paste it to your PowerPoint, so you save time on that. But best case is, of course, if you can bring your management to those views, at least within Confluence, with the help of snapshots.
Great. Thank you, Anja. I will bring Saskia in. And Saskia, do we have any questions from the audience?
We do, and I am surprised because you've done a really great wrap up of the whole system, very detailed. Nevertheless, 2 questions still came up that I quickly want to bring into the round. The first one is more about probably a feature request. Gadgets are not available in Confluence right now. When will they come? Can you speak up to that?
I think this is for Tony. I'm afraid it's for Tony.
Yes.
But I think Xray is not even really can do something about that. That's more a Jira related thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is a topic we can also discuss offline. And like Anja shared, we have an open ticket to this. Maybe the user can explain a little bit more their use case so I can understand what they're trying to achieve with this, and why they would like to have gadgets in Confluence. Is it that they have people they have users who are not Xray users, and would like visibility into these reports? If so, we do have also a feature within Xray called the document generator that helps extract and generate documents from your testing entities. And these reports, you can create PDFs, you can create Word files, you can extract different views and different insights from Xray. So this could be a workaround, but yeah, if they can share a little bit more about their use case, that would be a bit more useful.
Maybe I can add on that.
Mm-hmm.
Or Rina, do you want to?
No, go ahead.
Just more from the perspective, it depends. For example, if you're using data center and you have still an older version, you still are able to add gadgets from Jira to your Confluence instance as macro, but it's really unfortunately, and deprecated feature now in the newest versions of Jira and Confluence. But so there is really snapshot the way to go for me and for my customers. And if we're talking about cloud, for example, of course, still snapshot is a thing, and it's more the thing if people do not have access to Jira. So if you have different user base, then it's probably, as Tony said, export and send out PDF, but bit old school, on my opinion. If you have already Confluence, if you don't have, perfect, and if you have Confluence, consider snapshot. And if you have the same user base, and or maybe talking about small company, easy to have both, or it's common that users use both tools, you can probably solve it with the smart links, as you can create a page, a smart link page within Confluence Cloud, where you can actually refer to a dashboard page, as I showed you before.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, and of course the filter still. Guys, we still have filters, so we still can just use the filter with jQuery or whatever, save the filter, and Cloud, beautiful in this case, copy the link, paste into the page, and you get already the macro with the list. Not perfect, but step forward to perfect world.
Thank you, Anja. And yes, to the to the listener who raised the question, feel free to add information in the LinkedIn page, and Tony, Anja, and myself will be watching out for your input and will be commenting, and the discussion can continue beyond the time frame of this webinar.
Yes. The user did actually put in a request to that, which by now filled several questions. So I think we're going to pick you up on that offer. We're definitely going to reach out to you and then see how we can help with that particular use case. Also with Snapshots, Xray, all of that in a combination in Jira and Confluence. So that was it. For today. Thank you very much, ladies, for that very deep dive into what we can do with those three. It was excellent just listening to it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who joined us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you as well. Yes. Thanks everyone for joining us.